I rate Simba so much. Marry him.
Period. Come on, Priya. That's the most sense you've made in 3 days. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Love Island UK season 13 episode 11. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. I might have to go and restrict the comments again because I am going to ruffle so many feathers. I already know it. Fair warning, if you are a girl's girl in the sense that you support women's rights and wrongs, we're not gonna get along today. We're not. So I'm gonna tell you from now that you may be triggered, okay? Okay. So we pick up with Angelisa and Simba coming down from the terrace. They feel like this is the walk of shame. They go and they sit by the fire pit because they're trying to, come up with a plan on how to move forward.
Do you think I support Opie?
Do you want me to do it?
Why would you do it?
Yeah, it's done, bro. You guys are over now, bro. Sorry, G. No, obviously I'm joking, but I'm joking.
It
Really?
needs to come from me, I think. But I just feel bad.
She's done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Now Simba already caressing the booty. Oh, my God. Okay. I'll be honest. Is it muggy? Objectively, yes. Do I care? No. But objectively, yes, it is. It is so hard, though, for me to forget that this man literally admitted to putting on an act. I wouldn't be able to come back from that. Like, you said I don't have the emotional maturity that I purport to have. I actually do have a wandering eye. I'm actually not happy with the pace that we're going on. I'm actually, like, all these things that Angelisa thought were true, or at least she was just going to take your word as bond in that moment, because what else does she have to go off of? Now you're saying, no, that was all a farce. That was just to, I don't know, was it a means to an end? Were you just doing that to get your way? Thankfully, you never did get your way. You did all that in a week, and Simba lapped you in a day. So I'm like, yeah, is it muggy? Yes. Objectively, yes, it is. But when you pick apart their whole encounter, like Angelisa and Opie, I'm like, realistically, what she did is worse, depending on how you want to see it, than what he did. But number one, causation, okay? We're here because of the behavior that you did, right? The behavior that you exhibited. And then number two, the level of disrespect is often irrelevant. And here's why I say that. If I perceive something you do as disrespectful, you might not see it as disrespectful. So then I can't say, let's match each other on levels of disrespect, because that is subjective. I might feel one way about something. You'll feel a different way about the same thing. So if I see something disrespectful, I do something that you see as disrespectful, to me, it kind of cancels out. Because now if we're saying, well, that was on a different level of disrespect, so now I got to match you on that level. Like, it's going to end up being a tit for tat thing, like constantly trying to level each other up. And like, yeah, so if she feels like your action of disrespect allows her to do something that she doesn't take full issue with, but you see as disrespect, you have to see your initial disrespect as the reason why we are here. So Angelisa, after this, goes straight to Opie, and she doesn't even beat around the bush. She gets straight to the point. She's like, I got some bad news. I did go on the terrace. I did kiss Simba. He's like, it's cool. She's like, well, I just want to let you know because, we still were trying to figure it out or whatever. And then he starts getting irritated. And I understand his irritation, but sometimes he lost me on the certain principles he was trying to stand on, right? So he says, if you didn't like me that much, you could have just told me. We've been saying that. And that applies to both of them. So that I do agree with. But then he's like, how could you do that to me? If I were in that position, you would be throwing a fit and whatever. Like, I never disrespected you, so how could you Nope. That's where he loses me. You did disrespect her. Whether you knew she was seeing the date or not, what you did was disrespectful. What you admitted to, she's like, well, then why the hell would I try to be sincere with this person if he's clearly being insincere with me? So him acting as if there's no causation, Nothing brought us to this point. That's where he was losing me. And that's the principle he's going to stand on more, instead of just saying, baby girl, if you weren't feeling me like that, you could have just said that, you know, because now I feel like I've been made out to be a mug because I thought there was actually something there, and turns out there never was. Then, as we know, this man starts, you know, chirping at her a little bit too much. She's like, okay, well, I'm not going to do the back and forth thing. I came and I told you, and if you got a problem, that's another principle he was trying to stand on. He was like, oh, I want you to be able to communicate with me. And she's like, I am. I literally just came to you and told you what was up. Did I know I was going to kiss him up on the terrace? No. So I also have to ask for permission. I'm not even coupled up with you right now. And you've been in the doghouse. So that's another thing. Like, he's standing on things that I can't back him up on. But that initial thing of, if you weren't into me that much, you could have just said that I do agree with. So then we get to the conversation that we got a teaser of yesterday, where Simba is telling Opie about himself.
I'm just probably more suited to her.
No, that's
We've got more in common.
If you're not feeling me, dead it off.
I don't think it was a case of her not feeling you, though. It's probably not even a looks thing. It just comes down to, like...
No, of course it's not, bro. I'm fucking 10-10.
On a date with the two girls, you basically take the piss. Opie, it all works hand in hand, bro.
But I get it's all part of it.
You had two girls, now you've got none. Bro, the same way I'd want you to call me out if I was in the wrong, bro, I just gotta call you out.
Now when it's Simba who's telling you about where you went wrong, you're able to understand. You're able to put two and two together, like, oh, okay, yeah, you know what I did back then, I could see why it would lead her to want to explore. And then if you guys get to the point where you're kissing, fine, that's natural. Like, he now can see it. But when he was talking to Angelisa, he was being daft. Interesting. Simba's like, the night before, she actually was so respectful. She didn't come close to me. We didn't cuddle. We didn't do nothing in the bed. Things just escalated. She didn't have time to tell you, hey, we're going on the terrace and we gonna kiss. Nobody knew that was gonna happen. So you need to chill out, okay? So we can move forward. And he's like, you know what? You my boy. It's not that deep. Thank you for telling me, whatever. This is the same man who told Angelisa to fix up, by the way. But when a man checks you, now you're all of a sudden able to understand the situation for what it is. Lorenzo and Priya have a chat, and he tells her that Yasmin is his number one and she is number two. Jasmine is off the table because obviously Jasmine doesn't want him anymore. And Priya is happy? Okay. Let's just move on. Before bed, the girls encourage Angelisa to, keep going the way that she's going with Simba. She didn't do anything wrong in their opinion. And so, yeah, girl, if you want to kiss him in the bed, kiss him in the bed. And sure enough, she did. The next morning, we have Sam, who's asked how things are going with Namibia. And he says pretty much the same as usual. All she does is turn over and goes to sleep. Well, that's interesting. Are we starting to see a little crack between them? I mean, a lot of people don't even believe Namibia's attraction to Sam. So, yeah, that's interesting. Sam, you could have had a good run with both the girls. Try to see, if there's anything there with Victoria. I keep finding the urge to call her Veronica. But, yeah, that two-timing thing, didn't like that. Obviously, Victoria didn't like that either. Then we have Opie, who says that he's going to put in a shift with Victoria. That's dead, sweetie. But okay. What's also dead is Angelisa and him. Angelisa does admit she could have navigated things better, but it is done with Opie. She just wants to have one last conversation to put everything to bed. One of you guys commented that she's the one who said there's no chance with Opie. I honestly thought that was Jasmine who said that, but Jasmine laughed, and it was Angelisa who said that, so it's been done. As soon as Simba walked in, it was done. Jasmine says she's happy with Kavin. She loves how affectionate he is. But Kavin says he's finding it hard to read Jasmine. He says he thinks that they're both in their head, and that's why they're having this disconnect right now. And honestly, I think a lot of the couples are in this ambiguous space. Like, they like each other, but there isn't much depth in their couplings, which is why this episode is going to pan out the way that it does. Because these two, they like each other, but they feel like they can't really read each other. Lorenzo and Priya, Lord knows what's going on with them. Aiden and Yasmin, we know Yasmin has so much to say, but in an attempt to appease Aiden, she bites her tongue a lot of the time. With Mika and Samraj, same thing. They like each other, but we haven't really seen much depth in their relationship. So the cracks are definitely starting to form. And boy, are they gonna blow wide open today. What else happened? Aiden claims he doesn't want to open up a can of worms with Ellie, as if he's not the one who keeps taking the cap off. But okay. And lastly, Samraj and Mika say that things are going well, but she says she's just gonna keep taking things slow. Simba takes Opie for a chat and he says, listen, I stand on what I said, but maybe I could have said it differently because things got heated to a point that they did not need to get to.
My brother.
So you're right, yeah? If this conversation was on the outside, it wouldn't even be a thing.
The situation slightly got blown a little bit out of proportion. Like, yeah, yesterday it dragged, bro. It didn't need to go like that, bro.
I don't hold grudges. Like, I'm cool now. We're gonna make mistakes.
Nobody's perfect, bro.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it that boys can just dap it up and then call it a day? Like, I admire it sometimes, but then it's also indicative of how shallow some male-to-male relationships can be, because nah, man, some things run deep. I can't just dap you up and forget it. But then again, they've only known each other for like 48 hours, so I guess, yeah, it's whatever. Also, what the hell was going on with Opie's armpits? I was so distracted. Oh my gosh. Anyways, moving on to the challenge. It is adequately named Not That Deep. So let's get into some things. So Sean thinks that money is the least important when it comes to dating. Love that. Aiden got caught texting another girl while in a relationship and slept with somebody while on a break. Shocker. He's later going to say they actually were broken up, so it wasn't like he was actually cheating on the girl. And here's my thing, okay? Respectfully, this break, y'all broke it up. Y'all are broken up. If ever I was on a break with somebody, whatever I do, I'm not liable. Like, I'm just not. Covin's nightmare partner is somebody who loves attention. And for some reason, Jasmine is triggered. And he's like, no, what I mean by attention is like somebody who's always in people's business. She's like, but I am in a lot of people's business. And he's like, yeah, but you're not like trying to stir the pot. Like, no, but I can be like that. What's happening? What is happening? Then in her confessional, she's going to say, if he can't take a woman who's the center of attention, then he's not the guy for me. He's literally trying to say the kind of woman I'm talking about is not you, and here are the reasons why. But she's trying to say, no, but I am that girl. He's coming to your defense. What's going on? Next was Lorenzo. He says that he has slept with 11 girls, but he only remembers 3 of their names. That's going to be a problem again for Jasmine, because she's like, women are human beings, so it feels icky that you can only remember 3 names when the list is so short to begin with. I hear what she's saying. The principle is you shouldn't just treat people like bodies. I do get that. I also get what he's saying, like, you're not gonna remember every single person. Like, you're just not. If you are somebody who's very sexually liberated, there's no way you're gonna remember every single person, in my opinion. Now, Priya chimes in and she's like, well, I have a list. I have a list of everybody who I've been with. I keep that in my notes app. And the girls are like, yeah. And the guys are like, sorry. Also, now that I think about it, you having to write every name down in a list, doesn't that imply that you too would forget these names if not for the notes app? So obviously they understand what he's saying, but they just didn't want to give him that for whatever reason. The fact that you had to write it down proves his point. How are we not batting an eye at that? Because that's a problem. If it were one of us saying that, you guys would have a count, and I believe that they would. Essentially, Priya is saying, I have a little black book, and the guys are just supposed to be okay with that. And also, that's supposed to combat him treating women just like bodies, but you're kind of keeping like a rap sheet. Like, I don't know. It's a little bit odd. Then we have Opie, who said that he has cheated with a coworker. How are the girls gonna say, oh, it's okay. If you've grown from it, you've learned from it, like, that's fine. For some reason, the girls are just singing a different tune today. The whole season so far, they've been on a higher moral ground. Like, no, we know how to act. We know how to treat people. We know how to whatever. But now when it's time to like rationalize things when it benefits them, all of a sudden morals are out the window. Oh, no, it's okay. Oh, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But then still be mad at the boys for the things that they've done in this game. Like, it was very weird. Very, very weird. Then we have Simba, who says that his friends would describe him as having a wandering eye. Jasmine says it's not that deep. We should rewind back to when Opie said that, because the most vocal people were Mika, Priya, and Jasmine. And Robin, but she gone. Now the wandering eye comment is not... In context, I do get why what Opie said was just so off-putting, because it was everything he was saying. Like how he was drooling over the women, how he was basically admitting to putting on an act and stuff, and then also saying he has a wandering eye. I get that. But now we're saying, oh, I mean, as long as you don't act on having a wandering eye, then it's fine. I can see why the guys are like, well, you guys are being hypocritical here. Like, how is it okay now, but it wasn't okay then? That just doesn't make sense. Like, I understand the confusion. I also get where the women are coming from, but I understand why the guys are like, this is so hypocritical. Next was Yasmin. She has said, I love you to a guy, and then followed up with saying the wrong name. This also was a problem because Aiden had called her Ellie instead of Yasmin, and she literally ran away from the conversation. Well, you were in a whole relationship with somebody. You told him you loved him and then called him by the wrong name. And you can see why the guys are like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Then next was Jasmine. She thinks it's okay to hide how many sexual partners you have. She says a high number is sus and a low number is just indicative of you not being able to get girls. Coven is going to be irritated by that because his number is low. I also will say I didn't expect that. I was like, okay. His number is low, so he's like, what are you trying to say about me? You know what I'm saying? Then we have Mika. She has been told that her red flag is that she leads people on. She says she's just flirty. You know, she doesn't mean to do it on purpose. Okay. Priya thinks it's a red flag. No, actually, this is so messed up. Priya thinks it's a red flag for a guy to have never been in a relationship, but she's been sick over Lorenzo, who's never been in a relationship. No, the girls are actually so hypocritical, and I wish that they would be like, yes, we are being hypocritical. Yes, we are holding up a double standard, but they're actually going to try and act like they don't understand what the guys are upset about. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Then we have Lola. She was last. She says she wouldn't be with a man who makes less money than her. She says it's because she wants to have a big family, and having a big family requires big funds. I understand that. After the challenge, the guys, rightfully so, are irritated with the women, and the girls seem to have no idea why.
What is going on?
The lads aren't happy.
About what? They're all fucking fuming at us.
I'm sorry, I think we're just a little bit confused. Why are you guys so angry?
I just don't really think that it's that deep.
It is to us, though.
I think it's the double standard.
You guys are moping around like children.
I thought it was immature on your behalf.
Is it, yeah?
I'm actually weirded out. What the fuck is going on?
The girls are absolutely being hypocritical. Like, you are being hypocritical. You have double standards. Let's just admit that. I would rather they be honest about that than acting like they have no idea what's going on. So then Jasmine is going to take Lorenzo aside, and she's like, oh, I didn't like that you were trying to draw me out about the whole like bodies thing. Like, okay, I have numbers. I have numbers in my phone. I keep them in a private folder. So if I may need them in the future, I have them. Sorry? What? What's going on? What do you mean? She even says it shouldn't be a problem for somebody like Priya to have a list of names in her phone, because what if you're old one day and you want to reminisce on the good old days? What the hell? I don't even mind what they're saying if what they said was in a vacuum. But they're saying this to combat what the guys are saying. And I'm like, no. You guys are all in the same boat, respectfully. Like, I don't... Samraj and Mika have a conversation. And Mika's like, I don't know, you guys are just being weird. You guys are being weird. That's their word of the day, weird. Everything's just weird. And shout out Samraj. Because Samraj is like, you know what is really annoying me? The fact that not a single woman stood up and was like, you know what, actually that behavior is wrong, to try and hold the other women accountable. Nobody did that. And you guys were doing this whole herd mentality thing, and that's a problem for me. Nobody can stand on their principles. Nobody has morals. Nobody has values. What's going on? And then Mika's going to be upset because she's like, herd mentality? Really? Herd mentality? Oh my gosh. Maybe then you just don't know me. And he's like, maybe you don't know me. And what's actually going on? I agree with Samraj. If you have your morals and values that you stand on, they should show no matter the circumstance that you're in. And the fact that not a single girl was like, well, ladies, I don't know. That one's a little bit. Have you guys seen that trend where it's like, these are the reasons why I couldn't go on Love Island? They would hate me on that island. People in my personal life hate me because of stuff like this. Like, I'm sorry. If I'm adamantly against something, you're gonna know. Like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree. So I heard Samraj. I completely understand. Mika's going to be upset. She's going to go off to Jasmine. Jasmine's upset. Oh, Lord, it's just a whole bunch of foolishness. So then Yasmin and, I almost called him Scott. What's his name? Aiden. They have a conversation and he's like, well, I guess we're in the same boat then, since you've called somebody the wrong name, I've called somebody the wrong name. Let's just let bygones be bygones. She's refusing, but he's like, whatever. Then he's like, I also don't like how Jasmine was just on some rah-rah tonight. Jasmine heard her name one time and she just went off.
What? Why are you saying my name? I've heard you say my name 10 times, Aiden. You keep saying my name.
I haven't. I said it
can hear
once,
you.
Jasmine.
You lot want to get pissed off at one comment.
So if a guy shows anything that he's upset about something, he's not allowed to be upset. That's weird.
To mope around like this shit around the house, guys.
Not going to have him fucking going at her.
Can I actually speak? Sorry. So the wandering eye thing.
Can you just chill out? All you need to calm
Okay,
down.
yeah.
Feeling rude now, a bit, Priya. Just chill.
What?
The only thing I didn't like from what the guy said was trying to make it seem like Priya was being rude. Priya in that moment was not being rude. Not at all. To say, hold on, let me speak, like, let me land my opinion, is not being rude, okay? Okay. The rest of it, though, I was like, no, you girls are tripping. The girls are on one. I don't know what's going on. Is it the wine? Is it like what's happening? Something is going on, especially Jasmine. Jasmine and Priya today, they had a chip on their shoulder, and I'm so confused as to how we got here. Then you're going to have Jasmine, who's going to be irritated with her man in particular and his brother. And then she's going to go to Lorenzo and she's going to say, oh yeah, I really like how, you've got my back today. I feel like Lorenzo really rates me as a person. Mind you, Lorenzo has been toying with her from day one. Now this man rates you as a human being? Just because he's not calling you out on your bad behavior? No. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. The same way the women want the guys to be accountable for their behavior whenever they have a misstep, the girls have to do the same. They have to. You can't be, yelling, accountability, yet you can't take it yourself. No, I'm sorry. No. And that's where the whole girl thing loses me, because sometimes girls just want to back up a girl solely on the fact that it's just another girl. But if she's wrong, she's wrong. And being a true girl's girl is letting your sister know, hey, baby girl, you ain't right for that. So the whole evening, Jasmine has been complaining about emotional immaturity, and she feels like Kavin is not the mature man that she thought he was. So he comes over to her and he's trying to clear things up. And I thought he actually was exhibiting the maturity that she was clearly lacking today.
So can we clear this up then, yeah? I feel like you've just completely switched and just changed.
I think every opportunity you could draw me out, you took it. I'm an opinionated person.
Because I've not seen that this whole time I've been here.
I just felt like such little care from you, and I would never want my man to draw me out in front of anyone. You grab me and be like, Jasmine, like, come on,
Which is
man.
what we're doing now. It's hard to talk to you, Jazz, because you're not really gonna accept it anyway, whatever I say. Yeah. I apologise then.
Thank you.
I apologise for my part.
I get not wanting to be called out in public, 100%. Most people are like that. Do not draw me out in front of mixed company. We can talk about that later. But when he was making his comments, they actually weren't directed at Jasmine at all, based on the edit. They weren't directed to Jasmine at all. Jasmine was triggered and inserted herself. And even then, Calvin was still trying to find a way to defend Jasmine. So how she has an issue is beyond me. I honestly don't understand. She's then going to say, she had started it off actually by saying, you had switched up and then I had switched up. And so things just went downhill from there. So he ends the conversation by apologizing for switching up on her and, maybe saying some things that were unsavory, and the whole whispering thing. She didn't like that. She then says, I don't think that I have anything to apologize for, but you just admitted that you too had switched up and that's what made things worse. I cannot stand a woman who's not able to be introspective. Come on, don't cry for accountability if you can't take it yourself. She also said this is just how she is. Meaning, if I'm gonna be center of attention, if I'm gonna be, in Lorenzo's words, a sassy bitch, you're just gonna have to deal with it. He actually doesn't have to. People can decide that your behavior is not for them and they don't want to be in a relationship with somebody like that. Now, it's up to you if you want to make some amendments to the way that you act, or if you just want to stay how you are, realizing that you're narrowing the options. Sean and Lola have an adult conversation. Finally, we're getting one in this episode. And he's like, you know, I actually didn't like what you said in the challenge. It makes me have some concerns. And she's like, I've never given you a reason to be concerned about me.
Have I ever even asked you your salary?
No.
I would not have let a statement in a challenge have any implication on what I think about you. I don't know how I could make you trust me any more than I've given you. It takes a small little thing for that trust to be like undermined.
You haven't given me a reason not to trust you.
Yeah,
I know.
likewise.
So he laid out the problem. Hey, you saying that kind of made me feel like you're just out for money. She says, in our conversations, have I ever pressed you about money? Have I ever asked you how much you made? I actually have supported you in the fact that you are a teacher and all of that. I love that. But let's speak honestly. If we're going to have kids, these 4 kids that they both said that they want, that requires money. So it would be ideal for me to be with somebody who makes more than me, especially if I'm going to be the person who's taking time off of work to take care of these children. We need to make sure that we're able to adequately provide for these children. And he was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Duh. Which she said in the challenge, but fine. It's okay. It's okay. They actually resolved it in a good way. They weren't defensive in this conversation, but yeah, I loved her explanation. I love that he was receptive. That's a big thing that was just missing today. Reception. Just pause and listen to what is being said. Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Breezing through a few conversations here because I've been here for a long time now. Priya tells Samraj that her issue with him was that he made her feel bad for having a list on her phone. I don't know, like, so earlier Samraj had said, I don't get how the girls think it's weird for the guys to have adverse emotions about something. It is okay to not be happy about something, and we're allowed to express that. And for the most part, they weren't being rude either. So I'm with him. Like, it's not a problem for the guys to express dissatisfaction, right? So her being like, oh, you made me feel bad about, okay, but I don't think that that's good behavior. And I don't even think that he was really coming at her for that. He was just like, you guys are being hypocritical. If you feel bad about that, that's your own business. But the fact is, y'all were being hypocritical. So I hear him on that. Then they start to like go back and forth. He's like, you're embarrassing. You shouldn't have said that. You should not have said that. From there, she's like, well, F off. And then they start, barking at each other from across the villa. It was a little bit nasty. Yeah, it was not a good look. Then we have Aiden, who wants to talk to Jasmine. I don't know why the hell he thought this was the time to have a conversation. He's like, well, if I were pursuing you, I wouldn't want to be with a girl who's basically like this. Like, your behavior is off-putting. Why is it important to tell somebody who you're actively not pursuing that if you were pursuing them, you wouldn't want to deal with their behavior? That is so irrelevant. Especially when you're talking to a girl who is dating your brother. What's the point? What is the point? And as much as I do agree that Jasmine's behavior today was a bit off-putting, I understand why she was like, bro, what the hell? Like, why would you say that to me? She got emotional. She went into the room. She was crying. Priya came over. She consoled her and stuff. But like I said earlier in the video, I think both of them have a chip on their shoulder, and I'm struggling to understand why. Like, what's going on? Something else is happening in the villa that we're just not privy to, and it's all coming to a head right now, which is so interesting. Kavin went to her later and he was like, by the way, I just want to express to you that I don't share the views of my brother. I don't think that your behavior was off-putting. Like, I support you. They hug it out and I'm like, and you're trying to say this guy doesn't have emotional maturity? He even then went to Aiden and was like, next time, if you ever want to say something like that, come and say it to me. You have no business going to my girl and saying something like that. Jasmine, do you not see what's in front of you? Like, I think maybe because she expects him to be an F-boy, she's kind of operating in this whole like self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if I say it and he does it, it's as if he was always going to do it. But like, you haven't given him a chance to do the wrong thing. So far, with her specifically, he hasn't had a misstep. But she's just expecting him to do the wrong thing and reading into things that she has no need to read into, in my opinion, at least. The episode ends with nobody kissing in bed. Well, two couples were Sean and Lola and Simba and Angelista, but nobody else. It is contentious in that villa. We didn't get a preview, so we have no idea what's going on tomorrow, but I hope that the beef is squashed because I don't even know where it started from, but I'm over it. You only got one episode of this foolishness, okay? As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.